Hey, everybody, what's happening? It is Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Vegas J. Hi. And with me is Debbie. And Debbie, you have a way different background than normal.
I do. I'm in a hotel in Lake Tahoe.
Woo, look at you.
Yeah, they gave us I'm with my brother and my husband. They gave us a free upgrade to a suite.
Nice. All right, let's get our guests introduced by doing our first segment, as we always do. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk each week. Why? Each week I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug, give you a little bit of education, and I match it up with our guest. Our guest tonight is Laura Kvistad. Hello, Laura. How are you?
Excellent.
All right. So this was a combo Jason Stacy being my wife, idea for the mug tonight. So first I'll do the rum. Laura is located in Minnesota. So this is Norseman rum for Minnesota. And real quick, tell everyone where your day job, where do you work?
I work at 3M.
Okay, so I thought long and hard. I finally figured it out. This is a Moai mug made by Hmong Tiki. So Hmong Tiki Moai mug, 3M, and then we have it in 5 colors. My wife said, post-it yellow, of course.
That's very good.
There we go. So I'm going to drink my Minnesotan rum.
Awesome. Well, I didn't clad very well, but I have my favorite Moscato in a hotel glass. Does that count?
Yummy hotel glasses.
And Moscato starts with an M, so
very good.
That works.
And Laura, what you got?
Well, I didn't have any tiki mugs, but since this is the 7th season, the 7th program, the 7th episode, and my birthday is 7/7, I thought that I would have a
7 and 7.
7/7 in a skull mug.
I love it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Good job. Cheers. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, sit back, relax, and we'll be with you in a little bit, and enjoy the show.
Thanks.
Bye. Don't go away.
Keep your pants on. Yeah. All right, let's get right to it, shall we? Hey, man, we got tons of stuff to share tonight. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun show. Come on. There we go. Time for our scores of the week. Little tips. These are bolos. Be on the lookout. Things that you should be hunting for when you're in the thrift store.
Yes, the Story of Civilization books. The author is, I think it's Durant. Can't talk. This is a set. We have 2 additional books. I was shocked that we got $105 for this set because the price really varies and it depends on the time of year. You get more towards homeschoolers. Homeschoolers are buying books. It's a vintage set. There's also a set that has the dust jackets, and they're very colorful, and those do sell for more. But I'm very happy that we got $105 plus shipping for these books that I paid about $5 for because I got them in a bag sale.
That's the sweet part. You only paid $5.
This picture's kind of not so good, but these are Cutco knives. I'm selling a set for a family member, and I got $66 for that one. They're the white handle. You don't usually see the white handle as much. So anytime you see anything Cutco, pick it up. You can also send them in and have them resharpened, or if they're messed up, or you have to pay for that to mail it in. But yeah, I'm happy with that, $66. And this is part of the same set. The ink was not even dry on the listing when this one sold. I barely hit go live, and right away she messaged me. I had some questions about it and bought it. So that's $52 for that part of it. Okay.
Look at that. Woo-hoo.
Look at this book, $139, To Kill a Mockingbird. That has a W in it. I don't know if you can click on the next picture there. It has this W, and I forget what it means, but it's important. So it's first edition, 13th print. First edition, 13th impression. So yeah, it took a while. We've had this listed a while, but we got $139 for it. So, and I think we're going to talk about this book again later.
Nice little tease there. I like it, Deb. All right. Yeah. I've had this hat for a little bit of a while, but it is a vintage Dodgers hat. Oh, you know what? This is one of the ones, that makes me laugh. This is one of the ones that got affected by the big lost pictures by eBay fiasco of like 6 months ago. I didn't realize there's only one picture left, but it still sold for $32 the other day. I had it for a little bit of while, but maybe the problem was I thought I caught them all. Apparently I didn't, but hey, It's gone, and I paid $2 for it. So
and at least it's the front view. It's not the back view.
No kidding. Can you imagine it was just the tag view? And coming up very, very soon in the next month or two, I'm going to have my next webinar. You all learned a ton about CDs. Now it's time to learn about cassettes. Just shipped this cassette yesterday for $22.
Nice.
Plus shipping.
Nice.
It's the band Cake, Motorcade of Generosity. And I'm going to see Cake this fall. Just bought tickets for them, oddly enough. Now, my wife found these Winnie the Pooh vans at Buffalo Exchange, one of my new my favorite places for sourcing. And even the kid working there goes, "Oh yeah, these are the rare ones." And we already realized that they were. And I think we paid maybe $15 for them. But when I got home, there's some current ones, but these blue ones, they don't show up anywhere, and they're called Storm Blue. And so we want to make sure you get the color in there when it's a very specific color like that, Storm Blue. And it sold for over $100, and it went to England.
Nice.
And I kept getting like 50s and 60s, and I'm like, this is at least worth 70, and I even got a little bit more than I expected. So I am very excited. And I bought this kilt when I was teaching a class. Where the heck were we, Deb? You weren't there. It was me and Stacy. Portland. Good gosh.
Portland.
So the class was over. The class had went on to lunch, and we were walking out, and I looked at the counter, and if you saw my Mother Effin' Science t-shirt from last week, this was also behind the counter. It's a work kilt that had been used, got a little bit of paint on it, and it was half off, so it was $20. I listed it, lasted like 2 days, and sold for $104. So
that is awesome.
Keep your eyes peeled for kilts. Kilts are a big deal.
Wow, I would have never thought that.
And now, speaking of CDs, time for my CD scores of the week. Each week, I sell tons of CDs, a lot of them in the $30 to $100 range. Wow. The first one this week is a soundtrack to All About Norma, and I paid. This was an import. I did pay $8.99, but I sold for $40.
Nice. And
Freddie Mercury had 2 solo albums outside of Queen. This is The Great Pretender. I paid $3.99 for this, and I sold it for $40. And both CDs were listed less than a year, so maybe 7-8 months. So not that long. And
so wait a minute. Are you telling me that CDs sell for more than $1, $2, or $3 used?
Yes.
I read that comment in a group, and I'm like, if only they knew.
Yeah. I mean, I sit every week and go, okay, which $40 and $50 one should I share? Because the show can't be just all Jason shares CDs. So I picked 2 that could be kind of unique and different. So for those of you who have not taken my webinar yet, it is 2.5 hours of amazing content. Look, I know it's 2019. You can stream, download, and rip any music, but people still buy CDs. I ship CDs every day. Matter of fact, I ship cassettes every day too. And buying cassettes is a lot different than buying CDs. So if you haven't taken my webinar, head on over to flippincds.com. It's 2.5 hours, jam-packed. And the second you find one good one, it'll pay for your webinar. And then everything else from that point on is pure gravy. But each week I give away a webinar. So I'm going to ask you a musical trivia question in a second here. If you've already seen the webinar, please don't participate. And if you're in the Secret Beach and you're a Secret Beachcomber, you have access to watch it whenever you want. So I understand people love to play when they know the answer. But if you're a Secret Beachcomber or you've seen it, please don't play. Let someone who hasn't seen the webinar get a chance to win. And this one is so up to the minute. It happened yesterday. So here we go. What singer got married by Elvis last night in Vegas? So you've got to be up to date on your music knowledge because this happened like 17 hours ago. Yep. So you really got to know what's happening in current times. Okay, you got to be more specific. Okay, everyone's throwing out last names. There's well more than one of them. Yep, everyone's still throwing out last names. Boom, Janine gets it. Joe Jonas. Lisa, Heather, and Angelique said Jonas, but you got to be specific because there is 3 Jonas brothers. And I think there's a bonus Jonas too.
And one's already married, right?
Yeah. So the funny thing was Joe's brother got married to Bianca Chopra in this crazy like $3 million wedding. These kids just rented out the Little White Chapel for 4 hours, got married by Elvis, and then jumped in the hot tub in their room in their outfits.
Love it. And you didn't get invited?
No.
They didn't invite you to the wedding?
So Janine Paget won. Congratulations, Janine. Yay. So Janine, just send me a message on Facebook and I will get you all hooked up. Oh, it's the first time ever watching us too. Look at that. You turn in and you win prizes.
Welcome. Congratulations.
But for those of you who didn't win tonight and who haven't taken it, flippingcds.com is where the information is located. When you go to checkout, there is a code to get half off. So it's definitely worth your time.
And CDs
all right,
are so
but
easy
not
to
everything
find.
is winners. We also have our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Okay, it kind of looks like it's not a dud, but we only got $15 for this one, and I'm used to selling these for like $22 to $29. They're the Papal mugs, but this one was made in China, as my husband informed me. So I guess there's a difference between the ones made in China and the ones not. So we sold it for $15. So it's kind of sort of a dud.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. And then I put this in here. I mean, I got $16, but I did it because I wanted people to see it finally sold. I had people message me and tell me that I didn't have cabin or lodge in my keywords. So I fixed it and they sold. So $16, it's okay.
It's put better keywords in, but B, sometimes when you touch it, and I don't mean like you go to your office, touch it, but when you actually edit something in it, it kind of rejuvenates it. That's my feeling. It's not a proven fact, but you rejuvenate it and it's sold. Ta-da!
Yeah, so I was happy. That it's gone. Took a while.
All right. So I've always wanted to be upfront and honest, and not every CD I pick up is a winner. And even my assistant goes, "Is this price tag on this CD correct?" I go, "Yep, I paid $9.99 and I sold it for $6." So yeah, this Foo Fighters. Now, what happens, and I teach this in the webinar, but things go in and out of favor all the time. So when the day I picked this up, it was somewhat of a hot commodity, but by the time I get it listed, by the time someone sees it, it may be not so hot, and then maybe also 20 other people have listed it. You know, it's like with anything.
Yeah.
But I don't have just all $40 CDs. I do have some duds, but you know, that's just part of being a better seller.
It's just like books. They've changed like the stock market. The history set that I sold you, I was going to be happy to get $30. We got $105. Yay.
Now these stripper heels I've had for 2 years, and I only paid $4.99, sold for $30 plus shipping. So I made money, but they sat around too long.
Yeah.
You know, I'm of the thought of list it and forget it, but there is a point where you got to do something to move the old stuff out. So 2 years was too long, and they sold, and I was happy. So bye-bye. I made some money.
Those don't fit, Stacy.
No, they don't. All right, now it's time for... Where in the world did our stuff go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers. And this world has become very tiny with the advent of the internet and online selling. And you can sell stuff all day, every day around the world. And Debbie's got one today. Yay!
I do. I can't see it on my screen. It's the book. It went to Edmonton, Canada. It was that To Kill a Mockingbird book.
There we go. That's why you can't see it.
Yeah, that's okay. I figured I made the screen, so I figured, it's that To Kill a Mockingbird book went to Canada. We've been selling quite a few books to Canada lately, and we just sold a whopper to China. Woo, you'll find out about that down the road. Woo. So.
All right, and since I've already mentioned cassettes once today, why don't we show another one? This is going to Churchill, New Zealand. This is Def Leppard's greatest hits. And I was in a tiki group the other day, Deb, and there's this tiki mug maker. His name is Tiki Shark. He makes great art and mugs and stuff. And he was having a sale on his mugs, but he lives in Hawaii. And so he was using medium flat rate boxes. And this woman was complaining because the shipping cost more than the item. And I said, well, he's having a sale. She goes, he should just roll it into the price. I go, so you're telling me you won't buy it because it's a $10 mug with $15 shipping. However, if he sold you a $25 mug with free shipping, you'd buy it? And she said, yes. I go, look. So I wanted to point that out because the cost of the shipping of this cassette was more than cassette. The cassette was $14, the shipping was $19. So people want cassettes all over the world. So stay tuned. Coming soon, Jason's cassette webinar.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
All right. Oops, wrong segment. Let's try that again. All right. You have got to be shipping me little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Alrighty. I think it's important to keep a list of what fits in what. So I know that a book that, this box that I had cut down will fit, I didn't bring my notes with me, will fit into that poly flat rate. So I have it in a spreadsheet. I know what size, I think it's a 12 by 18 poly or 15 by poly, because I want to use pirate ship. So I have the exact measurement, the box, I'm going to cut an eBay box down to fit into that. So I don't have to sit there and think about it and measure it. And of course, our host, our friends at Bubble Fast sell box resizers. So I use that to cut it down. And I also know that a 10 by 10 by 10 is going to fit in that blue pull down at the post office. So if I don't get there in time, I can drop it in that, in the box inside their little lobby. So pay attention when you're doing things. What size did I cut this box down to? How big do I need it to be to fit in this poly mailer? Because it's going to save you time down the road, especially with Christmas time coming. So be aware when you use something over and over, know your dimensions, write them down on a spreadsheet, Linda, on a spreadsheet. And then just keep a record of what you're doing. I don't know if I could show you this today. Can you see this? See this tube? Can you see that tube?
Yeah, yep.
That is a tube. We mailed another cut code knife in a tube and put the label around. So save tubes and save boxes and know that sometimes if you need to ship something, it's going to be a crazy size. So keep your stock up and know what size things are going to fit into what boxes.
Great tip. All right, now my tip's going to be based off of something else, some other videos I make. If you've not tuned in, I have been doing some Tiki mug unboxing videos. There are all these kids who do these toy unboxings, and I'm like, well, I don't get toys in the mail, but I sure do get a lot of mugs. So my initial thought was just a little fun Tiki unboxing videos for the Tiki crowd, but I also realized every one of them would be educational. Oh, this is what this shipper did well, and this is what this shipper did not so well, because I get mugs off of eBay, Facebook, from friends, direct from the manufacturer, direct from the artist, and everyone ships a little bit different. So if you haven't seen my videos, they're really short ones, 2 to 4 minutes. Head over to my YouTube channel and look for my Tiki mug unboxings. And I wanted to share that because I got a mug today in the mail. Ooh, and I wanted to point out that $14.35, and they used a medium flat rate. Well, I'm like, okay, a medium flat rate would be $12.80 if you just use pirateship.com or stamps.com. So you overcharge a little bit there, but I plugged in his address and my address. If he was just stuck in a regular box priority mail, it would have been $8.50. And he did charge $15, but I know, being a good seller, that, man, that's too much. He should have FOMO'd it for $8, but even in a regular box, he could have still shipped it for $8.50. So I wrote him a note and said, hey, as a heads up, also wasting your time waiting in line at the post office. I go, you're wasting money by going to the counter and paying for it. So here's what he wrote me back. All valid and correct. However, we're in the middle of moving. Don't have a printer. What? And all our boxes are pretty much used up. Well, he's got 20 more mugs ending today or tomorrow. And I'm just thinking, people who get a lot of mugs, either not sellers like myself, they're going to know they're overpaying for shipping, and you're going to lose the customers over time. Yeah. Not everyone. But when this box would cost $8.50, why would you pay $15? But I figured I'll do a live opening of an unboxing tonight, so you can check out my other ones when you get a chance, and we'll see how he did.
Good job. Yep.
Now, I did buy this to flip it too, Deb. So this is kind of like all kinds of like lessons in one. He sold this too low. Okay, air pillows. Not too bad. I like air pillows.
Do you need to change your screen, or am I doing something wrong? I can't see it.
I am on the big screen right now. And he used a lot of masking tape. Now, this is a short mug. Oh. This would absolutely fit in a padded flat rate. Matter of fact, I got one in a padded flat rate today too. So what he did was absolutely fine. Bubble around the mug and air pillows to fill the voids. So perfect. I have no complaints with how he shipped it. I just have complaints with overpaying for shipping. And that drives customers away. I'm telling you, bottom line, doesn't have to be a tiki mug. If you are charging double and the person getting it knows it doesn't cost that much, it angers customers. It really, really does.
Yeah, I agree. I give a refund back if we accidentally overcharged. I refund them back the difference, just to let them know we save money on shipping, and they really like it. Sometimes they point that out in the
now
feedback
he said,
give me.
"Oh, I don't have any boxes." Well, go get some. But also, the shoe box is a great box to ship in because it's a thinner box, and he could have used that and shipped it weight and only paid $8.50. Now, here's what's great. Here's the mug worth about $100, $80 to $100. I paid $45 with shipping, and he never even mentioned this in the listing. It comes with the parchment and the number. It was a limited edition of 200 and the cocktail.
Wow.
So
good deal.
Pay attention because you'll see this in my scores of the week for $100 in the near future.
Now, does he have a lot more of those to sell?
Yes, I buy smaller ones right now. Angela says you message mug tellers to share the phone method. I don't usually do that because it'd be too hard to communicate that through just messages. But I do like to educate when I see people wasting their time and their money or the buyer's money. So that's why I wanted to share that as my thing. But hey, it got here. So bottom line, I'm happy.
Yes.
It will be positive feedback. But if I buy from him in the future and he hasn't changed his prices, I might go elsewhere. But I'm going to make money. So
yeah. Good
ta-da.
Job. Ta-da.
All right. Now it's time for our thrifty tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you in the thrift store when you are out and about. I love this one, Deb.
Do you?
Yep.
Wait a second. I'm not keeping up in time here.
Go, Debbie.
I don't, something's not, oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to try it. You go to a garage sale and even in a thrift store, I'm going to try it, but you go to a garage sale and you say, hey, you got any tiki mugs to sell? Do you got any Hawaiian shirts or muumuus? How about any kids books for sale? Because especially with the tiki mugs or the muumuus, the Hawaiian shirts, people might not be thinking anybody wants those. And if you ask, they might trigger and go, oh, yeah, I forgot to bring that out. Or I'm going to go see if Uncle Joe will let me sell this or that. So it can't hurt. All they can say is no. I do hear people ask, do you have jewelry? Do you have gold jewelry? Things like that at garage sales. So just give it a try, or whatever your niche, your specialty is. Just give it a shot and see what happens. And then report back and let us know.
Yep, that's worked for me. I know my mom does it all the time. All right, so when you're in the CD section, you find things that aren't CDs. This is a Nancy Drew video game for the computer that I paid $3.99 for. Now, the funny thing is, when my assistant, I filed it on my CD shelves like it was a CD because it just seemed easier because it's the shape of a CD. So I caught her in the D section, and I go, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm looking for Drew. I go, yeah, we alphabetize by the last name when it's a real person. And she goes, this is a real person. I go, wait, what? Don't you know who Nancy Drew is? She goes, yeah, she's that lady that yells on the TV. And I'm like, what? So after about another minute of conversation, she confused Nancy Drew with Nancy Grace.
Ah, I love it.
Blonde, helmet-haired lady who was always like, Yeah. So I wanted to share this with you because look for video games that are for computers because they're going to be in jewel cases. Because when you find a $4 video game, you then sell it for $50.
Oh, nice! Wow.
So there are other hidden treasures in the CD section besides CDs. All right, now it's time for this sound effect.
Yeah.
Time for our eBay tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're selling online.
Okay, we had probably the second cancellation since I've ever started selling on eBay, and we didn't know how to relist it because, when you end a listing, it shows up under unsolds or whatever, and Bill and I were like, where the heck is this? Where did it go? And so I put the steps out here. You go into your orders, all orders, and then there's cancellations. I never paid attention to that because I never had to use it. So I clicked on cancellation and then open cancellations, and it was there. Step 3, step 4 there, you'll see what the item was. And then I was able to click on it and relist it that way, because we didn't know where it was. It took us a couple hours to find it. I actually what I did before he discovered all this was I went into my message from eBay saying, you have a cancellation. I clicked through, and I was able to relist it. But when we found this method, I thought, oh, maybe a new seller or somebody who doesn't get a lot of cancellations has the same issue. Where the heck did the thing go? Because I need to relist it. So that's what we did.
Great tip. All right. This is a sale of a tiki mug from Frankie's. It was for the drink Kahiki Kai. Many of you watching right now, including my mommy, love drinking Kahiki Kais. Kahiki Kais are kind of like pina coladas with a little bit more octane. And so they had it in yellow and they had it in green, and then they retired it. And I bought this off of Craigslist for $9. And so as you can see, I had it listed for $89.99 because anytime a mug gets retired, you kind of shoot for the stars. Now, this potential buyer and I went back and forth on making offers, and he hit me back with 48. So before I did anything, and this was like our second or third offer, I'm like, let me look at something real quick. Let me check who else or what else, how many else are on eBay. And so real quick, there was only 2, me, and I had mine on sale for 72 and another guy at 48. So now I'm obviously, he offered me 48 because he could get that other one for 48 from somebody else. And I could stand my ground and hopefully maybe make more later. But A, I had it listed for about 8 months. And B, I see why he offered me 48. I only paid 9. I like to move and change and turn my money over. So I took it. There was an educated buyer who looked around and pretty much, he didn't say it in words, but he said, I can get this from 48 over here, but I'll give you 48. Okay. Because I always have tiki mugs. So I hope, and I always have Frankie's mugs, I hope this buyer will come back one day and go, oh, this guy cut me a pretty decent deal.
Yes. Great tip. Yes. And I haven't had that drink yet. eBay open.
Oh, I think you'll like it. That's kind of a go-to, especially when people are like, okay, Jay, I don't like the level of booze in your drinks. I like it more mom level. So that's kind of the Kahiki Kai. Pina colada with a smidge more octane.
That's how I discovered the Lapu Lapu. I said I want a strawberry daiquiri, and you said not in a tiki bar. You're not going to get a blended drink. Okay, so now we have our thrifting. Oh, I spelled that wrong, didn't I? I added board. Our thrifting tip.
No, it's right.
I'm confused, but that's not right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay, start over, take 2. Our thrifting board tip, a member from our thrifting board gave us this tip. That's why I was all confused. If you sell on Bonanza, did you know that you can get rewards? And these reward tokens, see, I have 1,640. They add up, and then you can use them for discounts on your fees, or you can get a bumper sticker. I don't want a bumper sticker. So you go into your account, your seller dashboard, and then you're going to scroll down, and they're going to see rewards. I must not have got my, I'm sorry, I don't have that. You can see what the pink is underneath that. It says, there you go.
Sorry, I was too
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that says rewards. So there you click on that rewards, and it will take you to your desktop, and it'll say, get your rewards or get your tokens. And you click on that, you get 10 a day. And I think it's brilliant because Bonanza makes you go. I didn't even know this. What? I know. Bridget didn't know it. I've known it ever since I've been on Bonanza for, I think, 2 or 3 years now, only because somebody in the thrifting board mentioned it. And I went, what? Rewards? So I forget what her name is. Debbie Passmore was the one that mentioned it. And I thought, oh, great tip, because you didn't know. And, it doesn't cost you anything to go in. It gets me in. I check to make sure I don't have anything to ship and just keep collecting them and collecting them. So for $1, I think it's 500 tokens, and I get $1 off. So it's, it's free money, or I can get something else with it.
How do you beat free money? All right. We have a new segment. I'm going to introduce in a quick second, but I wanted to share something. From time to time, I get little gifts and presents from those of you who watch or in the thrifting board, the Secret Beach. It's usually tiki or rum or pug related. And my good friend, Melissa Lentz, sent me this today. She goes, look, I know we're 5 months in, but I thought of you when I saw this fancy pug calendar. And she's like, awesome. Thought of you. I know it's 5 months in, but look how cute they are. So when Melissa's watching, thank you. Now here's what's funny. My friend Melissa Magnuson sent me the same calendar in January. So I have had 2 Melissas
Oh,
send me this calendar. And the great thing is I have my house where I live and I have my office. And so now
right.
I've got the calendar up at the house and I'll put this one right here in the office. But it's just so funny that 2 Melissa sent it. That's what, when she said to me, I'm like, get out of here. I got it from another Melissa.
Very thoughtful, Melissa.
Yeah, so thank you both Melissas. Melissa Lentz is watching. Melissa Magnuson's making dinner. So I think she'll watch later.
Oh.
So, all right. And then real quick before we get to our guest. Oh, so next week, our guest on Thursday, May 9th is Jacqueline Luciano. And we're going to talk jeans with Jacqueline. And my special co-host is going to be Joy, my admin/lifeguard. And with that, we introduce our new segment, Jeans with Joy's Good Job Award of the Week. Jean. Joy loves to help everybody in the Thrifting Board and the Secret Beach with the cool jeans they find. And so we're going to start profiling the members of the Thrifting Board who found something cool and flipped it for good money. So this week, our award winner this week is Enrique Blanco. He found these 90s Dream skater jeans. Now, I know most of the 90s jeans. I don't ever heard of Dream. He paid $349 for them and sold them for $350.
Wow.
He went to Switzerland.
No
And
way.
he had never heard of the brand,
way.
but he recognized they were 90s, and for $349, how can you go wrong? And here they are, Dream. Look how big the pant leg opening is. Isn't that awesome? So good job, Enrique, and good job, Joy, with helping people really get the most out of their jeans. And real quick, before we get our guest in here, if you're coming to eBay Open, and I saw chatter about going to Frankie's during eBay Open, here is the list of scheduled events. Sunday night is Ass Juice at the Double Down. My mommy will tell you how yummy ass juice is in the chat. Monday, for those of you in the Secret Beach, we have the Secret Beach Bash where we take over a bar, have a band play, and have a full pig roast luau with vegetarian options.
Thank you.
And there's Tuesday, there's a tiki party at Frankie's. That's for everybody. Wear your best Hawaiian shirt or muumuu. And then Friday is the big thrift class on steroids where I have like 8, 9, or 10 instructors. We do some classroom time. We do thrift store time. We do some bins time. And when we're in the thrift store, we're going to have like 8, 9, or 10 instructors. I'll be in the CD section showing you hands-on how to do it. Debbie will be in the book section. Joy will be in the jean section. My mom will probably be over in dresses and the biggest stuff. So you're going to have all these instructors in one class. It's pretty awesome.
It's so fun.
Right.
And we work hard. We work hard to help you find stuff to pay for your trip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything we find goes in your carts. All right. So let me get rid of that. Real quick before I get her on here. Laura is the first guest ever to come with her own spreadsheet, a PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, what is this? Usually people send us screenshots, and I'm like, I got a PowerPoint presentation for it. That's awesome. That's like nerd level awesomeness. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
And she wins the award for being the most excited guest to have on ever. This was on her bucket list to be on the show.
Hey, everybody. It's Laura. Yay. What's happening, Laura? How are you?
Excellent.
How's your 7 and 7?
It's good. It's making me more relaxed.
Okay.
That definitely happens. All right. So as we kind of said at the top of the show, and those of you who weren't there right away, Laura works at 3M. So she has a full-time career, and she's an eBay seller. But what's special about your full-time career?
Well, I've been there 43 and a half years, and in exactly 90 days, I'm going to retire.
Woo! Congratulations.
I know. I'm excited.
Wait, where's my applause? Congratulations. That is impressive to stay at one company for all that time. It says a lot about the company. And so awesome that you retired at such a young age. What are you, like 40?
Yeah, exactly. I started when I was 16.
So Angela said, how many years did she say? 43, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now, you're also married. How long have you been with the man you're married to?
Well, I met him in 1973, so it's like the same amount of years, a little bit more, actually. We met when we were 14, so it's 46 years.
That is
I love it.
Awesome.
Yep, he's a great guy.
Robert Johnson in
Wow.
chat says, hope you get the gold watch when you leave.
That's right. That's right.
So the reason Debbie, well, actually, I'll let Debbie say, why'd you want to have her on side, Deb? Because it was a good reason.
She found an eBay method that really works for her, and she laid it out so perfectly. And I thought, wow, because a lot of people in the Thrifting Board had kind of been talking along these lines. How do I keep listing and different things? So when I read it all, immediately I messaged her and I said, will you please come on the show and talk about this with our guests? And she said, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So before we get to your slide presentation, let's learn a little bit about you. So when did you start selling online, and what got you there? Like, did you just stumble on it? Did a friend say something?
Well, I've always been going to garage sales my whole life, and eBay, I really can't remember why I started, other than the fact that I bought something called Zippy the monkey, and he was a toy from the 1950s, and he had a plastic face, and his neck was ripped, and I bought him for $2.75. And somebody in the office helped me get set up on eBay, and I sold it for $100. And after that, I was hooked. And the person who bought it bought it for her brother, who had it when he was a little kid. So ever since then, I've been on the hunt.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
right.
what year was that?
2000.
Okay, so you've been on technically as long as me selling. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
And do you sell just on eBay, or are you on some other platforms too?
Well, I sell on Facebook sites and Craigslist, and I imagine that when I learn things incrementally, and I think that I need to branch out to Poshmark and things like that. But when I retire, that's the perfect way to do it. Just learn another platform.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And what else you plan on doing in retirement?
Well, we're going to do some traveling, and we have a place up on a big lake in northern Minnesota, and we're leaving to go open it up tomorrow. So, and then of course, eBay, I think I'll just go to town on eBay, and it'll be great.
Oh, yeah.
And do a little dancing on my deck, stuff like that. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? You said that you sell on Facebook sites. Now, does that mean the public marketplace, or do you actually sell in these special groups where people sell like maybe teacups or jeans or?
Nope, just the local city sites.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And marketplace too. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right,
Good
so
job.
let me stop screen sharing your title screen, and let's get your your PowerPoint open, because I'm just telling you,
she just raised the standard.
it's crazy. It's like when I got the email, I'm like, is there a PowerPoint on this? Crazy.
Good
Crazy
job.
awesome. All right, so entire screen share, and boom. All right, so you wrote it out. These are the things that you do to make yourself the most desirable to your customers, I guess is the way to put it. Because
That's right.
so many people fight and battle. I'm in all these Tiki groups, and some of the things they say about sellers and shippers, and I'm like, oh, you got to fill the Tiki mug with peanuts. I'm like, that does nothing. Don't waste your peanuts.
Well, I just like reading all the Thrifting Board posts, and you think that you know a lot because you've been doing this for a long time, but inevitably when I watch your shows, I learn something every show. And I took your class when you guys came to Minnesota, and
that was fun.
And I learned something that was just great. And so let's just start at the beginning here. So in your title, you say no punctuation. It messes up the search engines, and so I don't put any punctuation in there. And I don't like to use all caps because it's like screaming. But the thing that I learned in when you came to Minnesota is in the item specifics, and I didn't know this. You can add up to 25 different types of information and keywords, additional keywords. And I'm thinking, what? It was great to learn that. So all the time when I do the research on my items, I take a look at what other keywords are being used, and then I incorporate those into the item specifics as well. And I take 12 pictures. I try and take 12 pictures all the time. And then on my phone, I use my phone, and I use the square format. And Jason, you always say, take up the whole screen. Like tonight, I put up a toothpick holder, and it was front and center, taking up the whole screen.
Nice.
If there was an item that I can only get about 6 or 7 pictures of because I've taken every angle, I make sure that I add, put a couple pictures of rulers, using it with a ruler. So it gives the customer perspective, and then it adds a couple more pictures, which is great.
Love that.
And then I think, Jason, you said something about when there are multiples of CDs out there and the same picture appears over and over and over, you put your picture at an angle just to differentiate yourself a little bit.
Yep.
And then when you have a long, skinny item, you put it diagonally from the upper corner to the opposite lower corner. And I've got a couple items up there now, that like a bracelet, and that shows really well that way. Now descriptions, I used to be really flowery in my descriptions and go on and on. You could write them for days and try and be clever writer and all that stuff. Now, just the facts, ma'am. That's what I do, and it makes your listing time much shorter.
Yeah.
And then when I do clothing, you always have to put in sizes for clothing and shoes. So I made a couple of templates so I don't have to type the same information over and over again, and I plug in just the dimensions. And when I measure clothing, I also put together a form that follows the same format as how I set up the template, so the measurements fall in order as the form. So I just it works really well. And Jason also said that for the buy it now items, price it up 20. If there's a whole bunch of items, I just price it up 20%, so I've got some wiggle room to bargain, because I have people making offers all the time.
And the bargaining is part of the fun too,
Oh,
whether you're at a garage sale or on eBay, it's part of the fun.
It is. My brother jokes with me because he said at garage sales, he just sits back and watches, and he says he watches someone get Laura'd, he said. When on each item, let's say there's an item for $10, and of course everything is about percentages, to get the best amount, to pay the least amount of money. And so I would offer them $7, and they'd come back at $8, and so we agree on $8. And then when we get to totaling up the whole amount of things that I buy, let's say they total up to $28 or something, I just say, how about 25? So I bargained twice. And,
nice.
and it works. Just be nice. Yeah. So that's, and then condition. The other day I sold a vintage folding iron, really heavy duty, original box. All the labels were still on it. There weren't any like that, and I was able to command a premium price because, hey, when you've got something that is in mint condition, you got to take advantage of it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And then offer free returns, and I would say I seldom get returns. So, it's just the cost of doing business, and that's just the way it goes. And then, like you say, bump up when you get it back and you relist it, just bump up the price a little bit more. Not much, just a little bit.
Yeah, I got one coming
Great
back.
student.
He said it's too big, and I was very nice. I accept all returns, but I did say, just for the future, me and most clothing sellers have the measurements listed in our description. If you don't know your measurements, take your favorite shirt and measure the width and the length, and that way you'll know for the future when a shirt's going to be right for you. I try to make it as pleasant as possible, but I'm trying to help the next seller he buys from,
Exactly. And I offer 1-day shipping, and I would say the majority of the time, if the postman hasn't come, he comes to my house at about 3:30, and I get home at about 3. So if I've sold something during the day, either my husband prints out the label and And then the post office gave me these labels that I put over the flag outside, and then he knows just to stop at my front door. Because if I haven't been able to request a package pickup because I sold it that day, and usually you have to request the package pickup the day before, then I just put this little flag over this little sign over my flag, and then he knows to come to my front door and pick it up. So I get it in the mail right away. And then using mobile friendly, that's in the upper corner of the description, and always click on that. And so it looks good to everybody using their phone, which most people do anyway. And just like always keep your eye on the news and anything that's associated with hot topics or trends. And the other day I sold a Notre Dame 3D puzzle, and that it sold the same day that it burned. And when I went to bed at night, I just happened to count how many of those puzzles sold in that short amount of time. There were 61 puzzles that sold.
Wow.
Yeah, in a short amount of time, in just a couple of hours.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't heard the news, Chewbacca passed away today, so that's very sad for those of us, especially who started with Star Wars in 1977. So may the force be with you, Peter Mayhew. So if you do have Chewbacca things, everyone's talking about Chewbacca right now. So now's the time to list it. Wow, what are all these boxes?
Oh my God.
Well, everybody has to determine what kind of seller they want to be and what works for them. And there's so much information on the thrifting board that is shared. You just want to do everything. But what works for me, I wanted to remove some of the stress of when you sell something and you have to find a box and the proper packing material and get it in the mail the next day. It adds stress. So what I like to do is I like to pre-package all my items. I weigh them and I put the measurements into the item, so it's exactly right. And then I also label each of the boxes with that information as well. And all we have to do is just go pull it off the shelf when I sell it. And it works great. And granted, some people have, thousands of items, and if and when I ever get there, I might have to reconsider it. But right now, with 200 and some items, this works perfectly for me.
And having a full-time job too.
That's right.
Whoa, Debbie just turned into a monster. That was crazy. Like the Satan just came through Debbie, and that's great.
So like I said, everybody is different, and everybody chimes in. When they ask, do you package your items or don't you? I have thousands of items, and you just have to sort through all the information that's out there and then just find something that works for you. And basically, I just wanted to eliminate as much stress from, I want to enjoy eBay, and I do enjoy eBay, but I just want to get rid of some of the stress. And so that's what I did in pre-packaging my items.
This is so awesome. Hey, future guests, can you all just do a spread PowerPoint so I can just sit back and relax? This is great.
Don't say that. You're going to scare them all away.
No, I'm not just kidding. But this is awesome. I'm just kidding, though.
That's great.
Right. So basically, we did just review everything about boxing, everything, because that works best for me. And secondly, just by a little trial and error, I read in the thrifting board that some people run short sales to give the impression that you're running out of time and you've got to buy this deal now. And what I do is from Monday through Saturday morning at 5 a.m. I run a sale, and then from Saturday through Monday morning at 5 a.m. I run a sale, because there's a lot of people who go look at eBay in the middle of the night, and I want to make sure that wherever you are located, that I catch you when you're looking through and the time is counting down. And and usually on Monday morning when I wake up, grab my phone by the side of the bed and I've got sales listed. Well, last Monday I didn't have any sales listed, and I thought, why? So I looked, and then I looked when I set up the sale. the end date defaults to a month out, and I didn't catch that. And you have to be really careful. So I didn't have any sales on Sunday night. But so generally, just make sure that when you set up sales, that you can start the sale now, and then you can select when you want it to end. And one thing I found that was really unique that I have some stale items. We all do, right? And so I said to my husband, hey, I'm going to run a 40% off sale. And he says, okay, let's load up that truck, on Monday morning, we'll load it up. Well, you know what? There was absolutely no difference between running a sale at 40% and like 8%. I have a good amount of sales, but there was no difference. And I know that Peg had run a sale, at one time, and she made a ton of dough. I don't know what the difference was, but in my experience, I'm just running sales like 10% off. And I just run a sale.
Yeah,
So
if you haven't run a sale in a long time, run one. Give it a whirl because it brings in business. Sometimes you sell the new thing you listed for a little bit less than you expected, but then you sell that thing, you're like, I still had that for sale. Whoops. Thank God it sold finally, So
that's right.
Sales tend to work the older stuff out. And look, the whole thing is, as Laura said, if you price a little bit higher in the front end, when you have sales, like if you price it 20% higher and you have a 10% off sale, it's really not even on sale yet. You can have a 30% off sale, then it's really only 10%. So someone said, are you a compliance officer at 3M? You're so good with everything.
Well, people do have to run things through copy approval through me. So I do watch what they write and I make changes to it. You're right, I do. All right, these are the two different templates that I've set up, because who wants to type under shoe measurements? Who wants to type that information over and over and over again? Just go grab it in your templates and paste it into your description. And then all you have to do is plug in the dimensions as you're measuring those shoes or your clothing. So that's really easy to do.
Good idea.
Now, when you, I don't do many shoes other than tennis shoes. So do you still measure, if you're doing tennis shoes, you still measure the heel and the pad of the foot?
I do. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I'm covering my bases, and it's hard to get the tape measure inside the shoe, all the way up to the toe, and then just lay it flat and get it back to the heel. But you got to do it. So I do it. And it's there for them. Whether people, on clothing or shoes, whether they take into considerations the measurements you provided, I don't know. But you guys always suggested that you're supposed to do it, so I do it.
Yeah, I mean, more info is not a bad thing. It just, sometimes we all get lazy.
Yep.
And it probably helps prevent returns,
Right. So I thought I'd do a tip of the week.
Oh.
Hang on. Hang on. Let me put the sound effect. I totally forgot this was in here. I was sending so much stuff today. I totally forgot this was in here. So hold on a sec. I love it.
I do too. All right. So what I discovered, I had a little blip. I sold something too cheap. And although I made $100 on it, I could have made like $500. So that,
been there, done that.
Yeah. And and I've been doing this a long time, and it happens to everybody, and that's life. But, it took me a while to get past it. You have to process it. And I kind of got, I thought, I kind of ignored eBay for 2 weeks. So then I didn't list anything, and I didn't have any sales. It was just like crickets. So, a couple of times I heard that you should really list every single day. And so since that time, it was like about March, April, May. March 10th, I started doing that. And every single day since then, I've listed 2 items without fail every day. And so, you know, a lot of times we feel really good on a Saturday. We go crazy and we list 15 to 20 items and think, wow, I've done great. And then the rest of the week you get busy and you don't list anything. So I'm thinking that when you list 2 items a day, your account is seen as active. And I believe that drives your items higher in the search engines, higher on the page. And what I get from that is there's no stress, no guilt. Because on the thrifting board, we always hear list, and of course I understand that. But in the world where I'm working all day and then I come home and I've got things to do, and then after dinner I sit down and I'm tired, and then I'm supposed to list. Well, I'm just listing 2 items a day, and I'm telling you, since that time, every single day, without fail, I'm selling stuff all the time. And who's to say, slow and steady wins the race. And when you think about it, if you list 2 things a day, that's 60 items in a month. What there's nothing wrong with that. No. And there's no stress involved at all, because what I do is let's say on a Saturday, I get 14 items ready to go. I list 2 items on Saturday and I put the rest in draft form. And then on Sunday morning, I just get up and press the button and list 2 items. Monday, press 2 buttons, and then I can go out and I can do yard work. I can run to the store. I can be with my hubby. I can do anything I want, and I don't have to think about list. And the beauty about it is the sales picked up immediately. And the beauty about that is I have an equal amount of stale sales to new item sales, which is fabulous. You can't get any better than that.
No, you can't. Like I said before, if you can get rid of the old stuff too, yay!
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And so really, when you're reading all the thrifting board, I'm reading the thrifting board all the time, and I'm listening to your shows every week, and inevitably I learn something new, and I apply it to what I've learned and how I like to do my business. But then, of course, we know that the fourth quarter comes, and that's when I say that you list, because you will reap the rewards. I think last year in fourth quarter, I made $8,000. So
nice.
Yeah. So that was really nice.
Real quick, I want to address something from back at my contest. Lisa is watching the show, and she sent me a screenshot that showed that she actually won. And I usually say this, and I didn't tonight. What I see in the chat, what Debbie sees, what Lisa sees, what Laura sees, what my mom sees, they're not always in the same order. So of course I have to go by what I see.
Yeah.
And so I did send Lisa the screenshot back. So if you're still listening, Lisa, I did send it back to you. So I saw who the winner was based on what I see. So the only way to be fair is based on what I see. So just a little heads up. I usually explain that, and I didn't this time. All right. So Laura is like the best student ever.
Thank you.
So let's finish off with her scores and duds, because someone was asking about, oh, what's that item you sold for $100? We'll get to it. Hang tight. We're getting there.
All right. So last year, we have an annual garage sale where over 1,000 people participate over a 3-day period, and people come from everywhere. And I go every day, all day long. And these happen to be the house didn't look good. I just walked up and they had a box of these Franklin Planner, just covers, and they were for free. And I got 23 of them. And to date, I've sold most of them, and I've made over $500.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, so always, I've heard that on the thrifting board too, that Franklin Planner covers sell. So it went from free to 500. I love that.
That rocks.
Well, I've got 2 things here. I pulled a peg, and I bought these for 25 cents. And they're juice mobiles, and so they're OJ cleats, and they're kind of tattered, and I sold them for $65. But I also want to tell you about this particular picture. This is my my photo square. But I learned something. If you take the same picture and you back up a foot, and you take the picture a foot farther away, then you can crop out. And it's not in these because I didn't know how to do it. Then you can crop out the sides of the photo booth that are showing in this picture, and it looks like the rest of the pictures. So that's a tip. If you don't know that, it's like, oh, how did I discover that? Yeah. So those, yeah.
So as a heads up, you spelled Simpson wrong.
Oh, you're right. P. Where's the P?
And you still sold it. Yay.
I still sold them. Yay. Maybe
My
I had
country
it
for a
listed.
P.
Oh. Okay, now perfume. Okay, so today I was out garage sailing. I bought this perfume for 50 cents, and I'm going to sell it for $40. And it's half empty.
Hold on. Let me get you on the big screen. Show it again.
Okay.
So what is that you're holding?
It's called Tuscany Per Donna. But they had other perfumes there, and I looked them all up, and the other ones weren't going for very much. But this one is between 40 and $60, but I paid 50 cents for it. So what I want to say is that this particular perfume that's showing on the screen now has a really cool packaging, Christmas candle, and it is a little bit empty, but I sold it for $68 and I bought it for 25 cents. Yeah.
That's pulling a peg, Deb, right there. That's pulling a peg.
For sure.
Yeah, so
I love it.
You know, when you see perfume, make sure you smell it and it doesn't smell like old. And if it does, I grab perfume all day long whenever I see it.
Nice.
So I was at my favorite thrift store, and it's located in my old junior high. So when I went there for the first time, nostalgic, my heart was just happy girl. So whenever I go there, and plus they give away free bread. So I
Can't beat
know.
that.
You can't beat that.
All right.
So these, I happened to pick these up for $1 a piece, and they're like a hairspray for thinning hair. And I've been selling them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left, or 5 left, and I've been selling them between $45 and $30 a piece.
Wow.
I know.
Awesome.
That rocks, doesn't it?
Heck
I love it.
Great job.
Thank you. I just sold another one of these. I had 3 of them, and I got these. I have a knack of being able to get into people's homes by giving out my business card at garage sales. And I just gave 4 of them my cards out today. And people somebody just called me the other day, or about a month ago, and said, I've had your card on my fridge for 2 years. And so this particular item came out of up north in an attic that had been untouched since the 60s, and had toys and jeans there from the 60s, and I did really well. And
Right now, Joy's ears went, what?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And so I just, I knew it was going to be a great day. So I packed up a lunch, and I just enjoyed myself with those people. And, when you have opportunities to go to people's homes, and while they're cleaning out estates, that is a beautiful thing. I really, it's so much fun.
You're brave.
Well, you kind of talk, have conversations with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this coats are my jam. Coats are my bread and butter. In Minnesota, there's lots and lots of coats for sale at garage sales for $5 and $10. And if you can sew on tighten a button or wash them, sometimes have them dry cleaned, you can sell them all day long for $50 to $80 all day long. And they're easy to fold and pack. And I like to take my pictures outside sometimes, to get the although we have half melted snow there, it kind of gives a neat ambiance to the item.
I gotta say, I had never thought about this. Not that I could do that here, but I love for a winter coat to be having snow in the background. I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, now not everything can be winners. We all have our duds.
We all have our duds. Okay. These also came from that little thrift store that gives bread away. And I thought, oh, bibs. We love bibs. And Winnie the Pooh. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Well, those babies sat and sat and sat. Well, I noticed when I was packing them up that someone had hemmed them. And I used to be a seamstress. I used to have my own sewing business. And when I saw the hem, I thought, oh, someone did a really great job on those. No, they didn't. And I thought about taking them out and making them into shorts. But, of course, then it's your time and you got to factor in your time. And I've got other things to do. And granted, they probably would have been really cute shorts. But they sold for $17.99. I think I paid $3 for them, and they're gone. And now I know. Make sure that you look at the hem.
Yep.
Yeah, Joy had a pair of jeans that she got that would have been worth a lot of money, but someone hemmed them. I don't know if they hemmed them poorly or they were actually had one leg shorter than the other because there's like an inch and a half between the two.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's crazy. Okay, this doesn't.
Real quick before you, let me pop you back on the screen because you have a fan of your hair in the chat.
Oh, really?
Angela says, I am mad jealous of Laura's hair. Is that naturally curly?
It is. It is.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you very much.
All right, so tell us about your $100. Seems like a good sale. No?
Yeah, that's my dud. That's my dud. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah.
This isn't your dad. This is your heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had it up. I thought it was a rare colored Fiesta wear picture, and I had a ton of watchers on it. I got a bid for $100. It was coming down to the wire. I think there was a day left, or a little over a day. And somebody emailed me and said, "Hey, this isn't the right one. This isn't the right color." And she said it should look more like John Deere green. So we had a PMS book here, and we got it out, and we thought, okay. I mean, in the pictures, it doesn't look like John Deere green, does it? I mean, because a John Deere green is a little more yellow, has a little more yellow in it.
Right.
Yeah, and so I thought, oh darn it. So I emailed the gal who had $100 bid on it, and I said, hey, I think this is the wrong one. I'm going to take it down, and I'm going to repost it. Okay, so I did, and I reposted it for $100, and guess what? She bought it 5 minutes later for $100. So I thought, what is going on here? And so anyway, she got it, and so I emailed her after, I was kicking myself, and I said, please, I said, you got it fair and square, but when you get it, can you please tell me if it is the rare one? And she said, I'd be happy to. So she gets it. Well, of course, it was the rare one. So, and book value was about $1,200 on it, and I know, and they were selling. I saw one sell on eBay for about $400. So I'm thinking, okay, so $300. I made a mistake. Oh well. But it took me a couple weeks to get over it. But she said to me, I'm adding it to my own personal collection, and you just rest assured that I really love it. And I thought, good, that's great. But you know what? Okay, so you make a mistake, but you know what it made me do? It made me list 2 things a day. And now my sales are going great. So good comes of it. Cheers.
Oh, but hang on, Laura. We have one more dud for you.
Okay. Oh.
Shit, I should have had you on the big screen when I shared it with you. So if you remember from an episode a while back, I showed this as a score because I paid $5 for it. And I found it in the Halloween section. So it might have been a score and a thrifty tip. But guess who passed it up before I got there?
I couldn't guess.
I know.
Yeah, Laura saw it and didn't know really what it was.
Yeah, and of course, the 3 things that I did buy at that thrift store before your class are still sitting in my store now. What does that tell you?
But too funny that I buy that and you're like, oh, dang, I just saw it before you got there.
I know.
All right. So I want to end on this because I teased this. I can't ignore it. You live in the Midwest. You and don't take this the wrong way because I grew up in the Midwest. You look like you live in the Midwest. You're a nice Midwestern girl, but you got Frankie hanging over top of you there. What's going on there?
Well, as a kid, my mom, she loved Halloween, and so we always celebrated it. We would turn off the lights. We'd pipe scary music outside. We'd dress Maggie the mannequin in a witch costume and put her at the front door. We had Creature from the Black Lagoon mask and claws, and then we'd have a shrub that was as tall as our chin, and then we'd put the claws on, and we scare the kids. And ever since then, Halloween has been my most favorite holiday.
So Halloween's your jam.
It is. It is.
Nice.
So, and that's just awesome because you had a normal artwork hanging up there earlier. Then you get on the show, you're like, oh, look at all this Halloween stuff hanging behind me.
That's right. That's right.
That's
all right.
funny.
So, is there any time in the near future I should now, when you retire in 3 months, I should expect to see you somewhere on the West Coast?
Well, no plans yet.
All right. But if you do, we got to hang and have some tiki drinks.
That's right.
Yes.
Happily, I would do that.
Well, I got to say, I love all my guests, but man, when you come with the content, it's the least I've ever talked during a guest because some guests are like, yes. You were just like, all right, I'm going to take a nap. Let me know, Deb, when she's done.
I have to add one of her comments from her notes. I'm totally grooving on how well this is working. How well her system is working. She is grooving on it because it's working.
I am.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
And thank you for sharing. Like this was one of the best guests to share, like, specific. I mean, every guest brings something to the table, but they're very specific. Like, y'all should go back and watch it and pause it and look at Laura's tips because they are awesome. Yeah, Linda said she needs to print out Laura's notes.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes. Great.
You win. So Laura has set the standard now. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So Laura, you've been on the show. That was on your bucket list. What's next on your bucket list?
I'd like to go to Winston-Salem, around Halloween time and take the tours and enjoy that, because now I don't have to go to, I did a big trade show in Vegas on Halloween all the time for the past 13 years. And now I can have my Halloween back, so I can do anything I want on Halloween.
But can't you please come to Vegas one more time and do it so we can be there?
Yes, that would be good. Yes, if I do, I'll be sure and look you guys up.
Yes, thank you.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. It was a great show. Please give us a thumbs up right down here. And if you've not subscribed before, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell. When you click on the bell, it lets you know when we're going live. So if you forget that I had a live show, or if I do a surprise thing, or I put up one of my new Tiki mug unboxing videos, it lets you know right away. And no Sunday show with my mom, as I'll be out of town this weekend, but we will be back next Thursday with Joy as my co-host. Yay! Joy's going to be my co-host next week.
Awesome.
So thank you, Laura. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we'll see you around the thrifting board and the Secret Beach.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.